What's up, weebs? Welcome back to Anime Melina, podcast where we take you down the yellow brick road of anime and have a look at everything it has to offer. On today's episode, the sky is falling in the final 22 episodes of Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ. Series direction and story by Yoshiyuki Tomino, music by Shigeki Sagusa, and introduction by Sunrise. It aired March 1st, 1986 through January 31st, 1987. It's licensed in the UK by Anime Limited and formerly in the US by Nozomi Entertainment. Link in the description for further credits. As always, I am your host from Notorious, and joining me once again today is Shaun.
Hi. And also, just first off, holy fuck!
Yeah, there's
what a
tone,
difference.
There's a tone shift. That's for sure.
Tone shift and also just general quality shift for the
Yeah.
better. Because holy fuck.
Yeah, because, you know, things start to even out around where we left off. But I don't think the storytelling itself really picks up until like a solid 5 or 6 episodes after that. Like until they really reach Dublin for me, I think. Because I don't mind the stuff once they get to Earth, the sort of like weird collection of disconnected episodes that happen. I don't mind them, but I think like the actual story itself picks up once they actually head to Dublin, and you know, obviously then the major event happens.
The greatest story arc in all every series we've seen so far occurs.
Yeah. Where they drop an entire colony on the city of Dublin, which, you know, we for the just how peak that story arc is, we will push aside all of our constant every time we bring up colony drops, the science of it, because
look, it's been discussed, we've established that it doesn't make any sense. We can ignore it at this point. We've seen colony drops before, we've discussed them, it's fine. It's good to just, you know, actually see it happen in real time though, for once. I also want to leave it at the door just like immediately, the sort of, it's not like completely weird depiction of Dublin like overall.
Oh yeah. It's not
sort of accurate, but it's not really accurate as well.
Yeah, I would say like anytime. I don't think actually the UK comes up many times in Gundam, but anytime it does, it's very clear that they've not been there to do like location research or anything.
You had to remind me that this was being made while the Troubles were still happening, because that did not click for me really. I know the time scale obviously of the events, and I know that this was made in the late 80s, but I didn't make the connection of, oh yeah, that's probably the main source of news they're getting currently.
Yep.
If they are.
This would have been airing like late 86, because obviously it started March 1st 1986, so this would have been around probably October, because it's like episode like 35 is the colony drop, so that would be like 12 episodes left, so roughly 3 months from, so probably November-ish. This episode, I could just go to Wikipedia and it would tell me, but
you have like the ability to, but like we're recording right now, but and like immediately they're kind of just off on describing it, because they describe it as, you know, a city that used to be part of Britain, and I immediately went, no, right, no, please correct yourself.
They're technically not wrong, and I guess that's one of the little progressive
but they're really
parts.
Not right either.
I guess that's one of the progressive parts of the Gundam part here. They were like, yeah, it's not gonna be part of the UK. So
I mean, it was Dublin. It wasn't part of the UK at the time of the air date.
You also got to remember that like Japan's gonna be not getting that super completely up to date, I think, at this point in time, because news wasn't super as connected as for us now.
Yeah,
we,
but like Ireland's itself, like the actual country that is Ireland, became independent in like the 30s.
Yeah, I know, but like, I think in terms of like the troubles and stuff like that.
20s actually, really.
Yeah, but again, the description of used to be part of the Britain is not a wrong
I know.
description.
I know, it's
weird that
just a funny way to describe. That's the first way to describe it. And I was just like,
Yeah.
no, just no.
it is strange that they took that. I guess maybe in the sense that like, because we don't really know what the timeline for Gundam is in terms of that part of its
No, I
history.
guess not.
Because obviously, you know, it focuses more on the conflicts and stuff, and the Federation is just the Federation. So it's like, yeah, what is the timeline of events for independent countries and stuff?
Yeah, we don't really. They've never really given us any lore at this point on like how the Federation even came to be and like what that all. It's very vague. Admittedly, it kind of ties into a problem I just have. I do have with Gundam just overall, but I'll get to that more so when we talk about Char's counterattack later, because that's like the pinnacle of it for me. But not right now. But yeah, I guess we don't really know the specifics of things like really beforehand. We've just kind of assuming it's been mostly our history until like I don't know, mid 21st century ish.
Yeah, because I've no idea what. Well, okay, no, actually, here's a little random lore thing I've just remembered from Unicorn later on. Is the Universal Century, I believe, starts on the year 2000. So it's currently 2087, roughly. Unicorn was an expanded media novel that was then turned into an anime. So that kind of brings it into canonicity, because Bandai kind of treat it as that if it's been animated, it's canon.
Yeah, because I've heard about Unicorn. It was in my head until you said novel, just another anime series from what I was aware of. So,
because like the two big ones are Unicorn and Hathaway's Flash, and those are currently, well, Unicorn was
Hathaway does what?
years ago. Hathaway is currently being animated right now, and so those are kind of being made canon. But yeah, I'm pretty sure in that there's a flashback to the beginning of the Universal Century when they first build the space colonies, and they have it be the turn of the millennium.
I guess that makes sense.
So it's like 100 years apart from when it's actually like being made, if that makes sense. So it's like 100 years later.
I mean, I always assumed it was something like that. I didn't know exactly when. I couldn't remember when exactly the Universal Century started, but like the fact that the first Gundam series took place in 0079 and it aired in 1979 just kind of gave me the clue of, okay, in their timeline, roughly 100-ish years from then.
Yeah. There was honestly, because of how like fucky they were with the Universal Century up until that point, there was part of my brain that was like, did they just fully be like, yeah, it's 0079, therefore this is technically taking place in 1979, and somehow we have rapidly developed our technology.
In this universe, it went from nuke to, oh yeah, we could build space engines. And it just kept going after that. That's got to be like at least 100 different alternate history fictions already. I was going to say I want to see that, but it probably exists.
It's probably out there. But yeah. We don't really know.
This arc is great.
Oh, that arc.
This arc is good. Let's get back to the point.
Yes.
This arc is great.
Because not only is it a proper kind of step up moment for Judau, even prior to the colony dropping, he finally kind of snaps and like fully goes on a rant to the Federation higher ups of like, we're fighting this war and you wanna take us out of it when you don't take it seriously. And he kind of reaches that point that we talked about, you know, his character in the first episode, where we weren't really sure who he was meant to be, what was his driving kind of principles, and like, yeah, you know, getting your sister back is one thing, but I sort of, that's only gonna motivate him so much to participate.
It really became the question of, I don't think we really said it like this, but kind of became the question of what separates him as a character
Mm-hmm.
from like Camille or even Amuro, other than
Yeah.
the fact that he has a sister
Mm-hmm.
and he's even more annoying than early Camille, which is an achievement. And it turns out, I mean, he's still pretty heroic, but he actually does have a drive at the end of the day, and is like, yeah, this all kind of sucks, and Neo Zeon are in fact fucking evil.
It takes him a while to get to the point of like, no, I can see the wrongs in the world, not just from the Neo Zeon, but on our side, on the Federation. I can see that both of these are wrong, and it's only going to be my guiding morals that I can really fall back to.
Depend on, yeah.
And I think that's also sort of something that he, albeit not very well, tries to instill in the Chucklefuck crew.
No. Yeah, because even by the end of this, they're still, I mean, a lot of them have come more around to just like the AU at this point, just through the sheer power of camaraderie.
The fact that they're given the Nal Argama is insane.
Oh, I know, right? Like, I love Bright. At this point, he's got longevity, like, advantage, so that's why, but, like, he is just, I'm ride or die for him at this point, because, but God, why is he giving this ship to the little dipshits?
My fucking problem with Bright at this point is that somehow he's never fucking wrong. And that's what sucks, is that he gives them the Nal Argama, and somehow it just works out. And it's like, no, that should have been a career-ending decision for you, my guy.
Yeah, like, Bright should go up to, like, some general after that and just be like, oh, I'm fired, aren't I? Yeah.
Like, Beecher sucks. Just fully. And somehow he was made not full captain, deputy captain, but the fact Bright's not there just means he is the captain of the ship.
No, Bright does give it to him, though. He basically gives him, like, acting captain when he's off doing something, and it's not hinted at any point that Beecher has ever wanted to be captain. It's never been alluded to at all. It's literally just comes up like a scene before that happens of, I want to be captain because then people will listen to me, and Bright goes, okay. Like, what are you doing, man? What? Why?
And the only reason they actually succeed is that they just never listen to him. They always listen to Judau. They never listen to Beecher. Judau comes in and is like, actually,
Beecher sucks.
Yeah, he has no decision-making skills, and the decisions that he does want to make is actively in like contrast to like anything that will be successful for them.
They wanted to allude that Beecher had character development, but didn't actually give him any character development. So in practice, he still just kind of sucks, and nobody listens to him quite rightly.
So back to our point of the Dublin arc, which also we haven't pointed out. Lena is supposedly dead at this point.
Oh yeah, she died,
Judau
and honestly, I was
succeeds.
so ready for it. I kind of hinted at it a little bit at the end of the last episode. Now that I remember, that I was like, I have a prediction on what something is gonna happen.
Okay, I did wonder what that was gonna be.
And it was because she's been out of it for so long, and the fact that you told me there was going to be a tone shift, like and that something was going to happen. I didn't think it was going to be a colony drop. That one got past me, and is way better. But like, I thought, okay, she's away for a long time. Judau's entire like motivation is just finding her. I know something's gonna happen. She's gonna die at some point. It's gonna be like the big like shift, because a kid dying in Gundam hasn't really happened yet. At least a character like Lena.
The closest that you get is Ryu in 079, but he's old enough to have joined the Federation prior to the attack on Site 7. So, like, that's the closest, but he's not a kid. He's young. He's
like an active combatant as well. So, like, you know, it sucks, but, you know, he signed up for it.
Yeah.
that's a terrible mindset to say, I know. But, like, Lena is like an actual child.
Yes.
I was like, okay,
She's passive. That's the
yeah,
thing.
passive. Wise for her age, weirdly enough. She's
Yeah.
like the most mature of the chuckle fucks, and she's
Well,
like
you know, when
7.
you got a
but-
brother like Judau, it's either you gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or you're gonna be pulled down by him.
and she was pulled down by him, but like that's not the point. But yeah, so I was like, okay, is she gonna die? And then I was kind of getting weirdly hyped for it because like, oh hell yeah, it's gonna happen. I like her as a character. She's one of the least annoying characters. I need to stress, but I kind of had like the sort of Palpatine grin of like, is it gonna happen? Is she gonna get got? And then she did, but then they do the thing where she like reacts to something and gets up from one of the like the bed she's in just before the house blows up, and I'm like, they've left it open.
They play
So
it.
now I'm not sure.
They play it longer than you think. It's not until they're
Hmm.
back in space, like a couple episodes after that, that Judau's like,
Hmm.
yeah, I gotta get money for me and Lena, and everyone's just like, has Judau cracked?
It's not even that though. We see that she's still alive with Sayla in a random cutaway when they're leaving Earth.
When they're leaving Earth,
And-
I forgot about that.
And like I saw that and I was like, wait, hold on, go back. There's two things we need to address here. And then they don't acknowledge it until like I think it's the episode after that Judau starts to kind of, break a little bit, or at least it looks like he's breaking a little bit.
Yeah, because he never decides to communicate with his friends and be like, no, I can sense her presence, but even
To
then,
be fair, with these friends, I wouldn't want to communicate with them, so it's fair.
fair, but also the show kind of paints him as having cracked, because until he's fighting Haman at the end and hears Lena's voice, along with Camille's, but it's Lena's, where he's like, oh my god, I did feel the presence of my sister. And I'm like, you weren't sure? And you were saying all that shit in front of your friends?
Look, he was trying to make it real. I don't blame him. He had like a little spark of hope and was like, I'm gonna hold on to this as long as I can. It's kind of beautiful actually when you think about it. The entirety of the Dublin arc, just like the actual destruction of the city as well, is played so hauntingly well, because it's not just the battle itself. It's Camille and Fa, who we've met up again because they were also in Dublin somehow.
Yeah, just at a hospital in Dublin, that happens sometimes.
I just didn't even really question it like when it came up. I was just like, oh cool, you're here. I'm happy you've not been forgotten about. But like they're here, and then they get picked up and sent to Glasgow, which is a fate worse than death, I think personally. But
which also looks nothing like Glasgow.
Okay, yeah, Dublin has the advantage of I've not been to Dublin, and it's far enough away where I don't confidently know. I've been to Glasgow. I was in Glasgow recently. It looks nothing like the way they've drawn it.
I've been to Dublin, and when that scene came up in the show again, I immediately was on my phone because I've got pictures from when I was in Dublin and was like looking through them. I was like, yeah, no, this shit just does not look like this.
Yeah, it's the classic sort of Irish sort of like stereotypical look to it, where it's like, grassy fields, just kind of mainly rural. It's more just a big town and everything. Taken aback that they did the same to Glasgow, but then again, I shouldn't be. But yeah, they get dropped off there, and it's kind of confusing because I don't think we see them really travel to or get dropped off at Glasgow. They just kind of get mentioned as going there, and then they're suddenly there.
Yeah, I think they take like something from the Argama. There must be like, because they've picked up oh no, that's prior. Yeah, I don't know. They take some kind of transport off the Argama that's just never mentioned.
Yeah, one of those light speed traveling things. You have that. You have that.
To be fair, but, the Argama travels to Ireland from Africa very quickly.
That is true. That is actually. I mean,
it's only a 30-minute flight from Ireland to here, so it's not that impossible.
I mean, having just recently traveled in that sort of area to like from like here, like sort of recently in the last few months, I went to like on holiday like to Tenerife, which is like just off the coast of that bit of Africa that they're in. I could say it's only like a 4 or 5 hour flight.
Yeah. So like Ireland's only 30 minutes by plane from Glasgow. So
They literally had to fly over from Dublin, so you know, I basically had a similar sort of flight track. But yeah, so but like 30 minutes from like Dublin to Glasgow, and like the way they've drawn it as well, because it's kind of similar to how they've drawn Dublin, I had a moment of, wait, so are they still in Dublin? Are they about to die? Because that's a whole other like twist I wasn't expecting. But no, Camille is still able to see the destruction from that far away.
Yeah.
Which sort of shows how massive the destruction is.
Yeah. There are points along the Scottish coast, if it's clear enough of a day, you can see Ireland.
Yeah.
So that would be actually harrowing to see. Even from a distance, that would be kind of crazy.
Yeah, because it's not like it's directly in front. It's like you see like the fireball and like the clouds and stuff from there, and it's genuinely haunting.
Yeah.
Especially from Camille, who's probably feeling on some level everything that's happening there because he's one with the universe now.
He'll be feeling shit, who is it that feels like Alderaan disappear? Is it Obi-Wan? Yeah, he'll be feeling whatever Obi-Wan felt when Alderaan got blasted.
It's as if a million voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
I was like, there's a quote here that I can't pull for some reason, but no, that's it. Yeah, that's what I imagine Camille experienced during that, because he can see the universe and time and shit like that.
Yeah, because he is one with the universe.
He new typed so hard.
Which genuinely, I don't know if I love or hate that just never got expanded on past like these episodes, because we only see him like once again, like when it's the end like epilogue part, and he's just sort of dancing with Fa, which is cute.
Yeah,
but like I'm just like, so is he cured now, or is he still just kind of fucked?
I think the interpretation I've seen is that he's only like that because of Shiroko, and like at the end Shiroko hits him with such like a negative force that like it just knocks him mentally, because he is that perceptive to the new type abilities, and so it just takes him that length of time to like recover, because we kind of see him start to become more and more not better himself, yeah. And then he just gives Judau the pretty boy stare for some reason.
I love that frame so much. Why does he look so, I mean, he was always kind of a twink, but why does he look so much like a twink in that moment?
It's really stuff like that that makes the fact there's a different character designer kind of shine through in Double Zeta. Because Zeta was designed by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko, who designed the original Gundam, wrote most of the mangas and stuff, or drew like the origin manga and stuff. And but Double Zeta is designed by Hiroyuki Kitazuma. I think he's also the character designer for Char's Counterattack, which is why there's sort of more of a through line visually between the two of them.
Yeah, there's definitely like a difference, because Char's Counterattack definitely looks like a movie, but it definitely feels like an evolution of Double Zeta's like art style.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that is the correct word here, but it definitely looks like it's from that artist compared to the original, especially, but also like Zeta.
Yeah, because Zeta you can sort of put down to like just the time that passed.
You know, like 7 years.
7 years and higher budget. And, you know, Double Zeta is very clearly, I think it only really shines through once you kind of see Camille more often and you're like, what's going on here? You look just a little different.
Like, I know you're out of it, but like, are you good? The fact that like specifically like the eyes go full twink, and like that one like shot specifically when he turns around, it's like, ugh.
I love.
You know what he reminded me of? You know, this is such like a deep pull. It reminds me of like Ralph Bakshi Frodo for like a second.
Oh, I see what you mean. Oh
Yeah,
man.
with like the wide eyes and
Mhm.
stuff.
The thing is like that screenshot's kind of like infamous as well. Like people
Okay.
point that out all the time, but like nothing prepares you for how odd it is to see it actually in motion too, because they animate it in kind of like a specific way where it's almost slow motion when he turns around. So it's like
It's like a reveal.
yeah.
If they had put his eyes, if they had made his eyes red in that moment, it would be like a huge whoa.
Oh man.
Yeah. Truly, that was the worst thing that happened to Dublin. That stare. But yeah, after that happens, it's like go, 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 go from there.
Yeah, because like there's a full like conflict that happens around the fully still standing colony, with I think the most terrifying version of the Psycho Gundam Mark II, and especially when like Plu blows herself up and like you see the like almost skeleton of it is genuinely disturbing in a way.
Yeah, like I love the fact that it doesn't just like collapse once it hits, like it's still standing and it just basically becomes like a monument to like the event that's just happened, because that is like such a stark image of this giant fuck off colony just like hanging out the ground like a grave.
It only collapses like near the end of all of that stuff, which like the colonies aren't designed to be under gravity, so of course it's eventually just gonna like do something to collapse under its own weight, and probably them fighting their way through it did not help. they were just smashing massive holes in that thing.
Yeah, like I think at one point Plu attacks like Plu 2 through the colony itself.
They blast I think it's the Argama's like high mega particle cannon through that, which is like, yeah guys, maybe not the best idea.
It's a battle, they're trying their best.
Yeah, but like, you know, that could fall, that could do more that could kill more people, that could, you know.
We've talked about logistics, but like a colony drop like that, everyone just in the vicinity is dead who's not part of like the ship or whatever.
I suppose the blast wave would be strong enough that like even that colony falling is not going to kill any more people, because whoever is nearby is just dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can see it from Glasgow, like half of that of the island of Ireland is just dead.
Yeah. I mean, the one in from Operation British prior to 0079 is enough to punch a hole in Australia and just sort of completely alter Australia's landscape. So yeah, I don't think Ireland, a much smaller nation, is coming out of that one particularly well.
Jeez, and they had problems before. Yeah, but like, this is also like, is this the arc where like Plu 2 is introduced?
Yeah,
fully?
I think so. We see her in Deep Sleep.
Yeah,
prior
like when Glennie shows off the Spartan 2 program that he's invented.
Because this is the thing, I kind of like Glemmy's end arc, where he goes to like rebelling against the Man Karn. I don't like the build up to it. I think it's done in sort of the worst way possible, because it just sort of starts and then we get like a handful of scenes occasionally. It'll just be like, meanwhile, Glemmy's evil plans that you definitely were thinking he was gonna do.
Okay, yeah, that whole presentation of it is so dumb because of how much of a side thought it is to the show, until it becomes like a major thing in the last like few episodes.
It's just sort of like, you know, the tone had shifted back. The Dublin arc completely set a whole new trajectory for the show. And then it's like every time we cut to Glemmy and his machinations, it's like comedically evil at times.
Yeah.
It's like so evilly presented. The lighting of the room, the starkness of the shadows and lighting, and it's like, I know you want to be serious, but you're taking yourself so serious for a character who has been kind of pathetic up until now.
Yeah.
That it's just kind of funny unintentionally.
Yeah. I kind of get it, like, just in the way it's framed, because, like, I like the Glemmy, and really everyone in the higher ups of Neo Zeon that's not like Haman is just kind of pathetic. I kind of like that because, I mean, that's basically what neo-Nazis are, aren't they? They're just pathetic little people and like trying to make claim of a dead ideology that's been dead for quite a while at this point. But like, I understand because it's such like an afterthought for so much of the series until it becomes relevant. It does kind of feel weird that we've gotten Glemmy, who is so pathetic up until now and is basically the closest you can get to a Neo Zeon incel. That, like, it's weird that suddenly he's like, and now my evil plan, because I've been given complete control of the cyber new type program for some reason, I'm going to use it against Haman.
And he starts talking about like blood purity and being part of like the Zabi family, and I'm just like, could we not have brought this up sooner?
Yeah, okay, this is something I want to ask. Did they actually explain what the connection actually is?
Not in Double Zeta, so I had to look this up to remember what the hell was going on. And I think this was something that they expanded upon in, I don't know, the expanded media, so take this with a grain of salt.
Okay.
There was speculation prior to the stuff that the written stuff of fans thinking that Glemmy was potentially a bastard of Giran. But the I think one of the mangas or like a light novel that's never been translated in English, so like, you know, again,
okay, yeah, really take this with a grain of salt.
I think reveals it that he is like a test tube clone of Giran, which visually, no, he's not.
No. That man was bald, and I know baldness isn't something you're born with. Like,
oh no,
start,
you're
like...
thinking of Degwin. Degwin's the dad.
Right, that's Degwin, you're right.
Giran's the guy who gets compared to Hitler, and he's like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, I totally vibe with that.
Yeah, who's that guy? I like the cut of his jib. and Shaun's just like, okay.
It would make more sense. And now I did read this on the Wikipedia his like Gundam fandom page and was like, no, he's not. It would make more sense if he was a literal clone of Char, because he looks more like Char. And the trivia page.
Giran has like, is that grey or purple hair?
Giran's got like purple, I think.
Yeah, it looks purple, but I don't know if it's like just okay. Yeah, I'm looking at like an action figure now, and it's definitely
Garma's
purple.
also got purple hair. If I
yeah, I know
correctly.
Garma's got purple hair.
But yeah, Glemmy from the fandom is considered the first Char clone within Gundam, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's true.
I mean, he's blonde, but like he's got none of the charisma.
Yeah,
none of the fun.
None of the charisma. Like, even his like rebellion against Haman can barely be compared to what Char does in the original Gundam.
Say what you will about Char's personality and his whole aims, but like he at least on a purely personal level had a legit reason to like have grudges against the Zabis, because you know they murdered his dad.
Yeah,
that's just gonna happen. But like Glemmy just straight up wants the power.
Yeah. So he's some kind of, whether it is a bastard child of one of the Zabis, which would explain the fact he looks nothing like any of them.
Yeah.
Because even Kaecilia's got like purple hair, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So like I believe that more over a direct test tube clone of any of them, because that to me doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like if he was a test tube clone, you'd think they would make a point to try and make him look like a Zabi, like just sort of obviously,
Yeah,
on some level. And again, this is just a fundamental like problem I'd have with this. I wish it was explained in the show itself instead
yeah.
of just being like hinted at and then not explained.
I don't know if the show like was maybe you were meant to take the interpretation more of like he's some kind of distant cousin or something.
That's the one I
you
just
know?
took, like, before we had this conversation. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so maybe he's just some sort of, like, different branch of the family that's just
Yeah.
not important. But now that the actual main branch is gone, he's trying to, like, rise up to it, and he just needs to get rid of this little kid that's,
Yeah.
no one cares about Minerva.
Because why would you have a child take on the throne? You know, it
Yeah.
should be someone older, more capable.
Yeah.
That
And,
would
the fact that, like, really it's Haman that's taken over,
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
he's just using... Is it pronounced Minerva?
I think so, yeah, like just kind of take the R out of Minerva and you've kind of got like
Yeah,
a
I keep
similar-
wanting to say Minerva, but, like...
Yeah.
She's basically just using Minerva as a puppet and it's for her own like ends, like very clearly. I got
Yeah.
called out the moment we met Haman. But so on that front, yeah, but the fact that it's not expanded upon enough other than just Glemmy wants power, he could have had absolutely no relation to the Zabis and
Yeah.
it still wouldn't have really changed anything on how he's
Mhm.
presented in the show.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's an odd little thread.
Yeah, because it kind of brings in like a whole theme that so far the whole of the Universal Century that we've experienced hadn't really dealt with, and that is the idea of blood purity, which is a whole other theme that you got to do a whole lot of other shit to go into.
It fits with the fascism theme, but
It does.
it's the Zabis were just kind of going with typical sci-fi space evil fascism of it's not really racial purity because that's a bit too close to home in history. So we're just generally authoritarian evil with a nationalist bent,
Because they don't really go with blood purity because like it's more about the division of the people who live on Earth and the people who live in the colonies, and you can't really blood purity that's more just a way of life rather than
they do kind of try in some places, but it never really works as well. And if they want to do something like that, go more like the X-Men route and have it be like new type supremacists, because that's a whole thing that like they point out new types are really only becoming a thing because humanity is going into space. So they could have played that off as a sort of supremacist thing, but they kind of do, but they also kind of really don't. A man tries, and I think maybe Char like in Counterattack, but we'll get there.
It's sort of that odd thing where we keep meeting a lot of new types as the protagonists and sort of the external main characters, sort of secondary, tertiary main characters, but you never get the impression that they become like a widespread thing.
No.
So it kind of feels weird in the sense of like you have both sides, like the Federation wants to use them as war machines essentially, and you got the Zeon, Neo Zeon, Zabis, whoever, wanting to be like, yeah, you are the new species, you are the evolution, you are the new leaders, and yet it feels like there is no proliferation of them, and there is no sort of like societal implication of that realistically,
because no like sort of civilian character we've ever seen in this brings up new types at all. It's never brought up as like a sort of national conversation, for lack of a better term. It's never like it's very much contained to just the main characters. Kind of plays into again that overarching problem I have with Gundam that I'll talk about in Counterattack more. But yeah, it's just they have an idea, and it feels like such a obvious idea to go for the things they've already set up, and then they just don't connect them, and
Yeah.
it's weird.
I don't know if it's like kind of, some characters, usually the protagonists are directly opposed to the antagonists in Gundam, not because they are their ideals are wrong necessarily, but it's the way they go about achieving them. Almost all of them try to force the evolution of humanity. They try and
Yeah.
push things forward violently rather than taking the natural progression route, which sort of the protagonists usually end up kind of coming naturally to their own conclusion, is like, no, these things are going to be slow, so we just need to let them happen. We need to let them take their natural course.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's kind of meant to be the thing, is it's like, yeah, it's been 7, 8, 9 years, whatever, by the end of Double Zeta, but like that's not really a long time in the terms of humanity's progression.
And like the thing was, from what I remember of 79, was that like new types were only just being discovered as a thing around then. Like we didn't even hear about them at all until near the end of 79. We've talked about this before, and like it was very much talked about as like we don't really know what they are, but we're just kind of aware that something like this might exist. It was mainly just a reason to explain why Amuro was so good at being a pilot, but like they were developing it at that point, both in and out of universe.
Yeah, because sort of like the way they filled it in later years with the extra media, especially like the Origin goes into this a little bit in its first episode, is like that Char's dad sort of came up with it as like a concept and like a philosophical idea, and then the Zeon or the Zabbies, sorry, just sort of were like, actually, that's a really great way of getting people to like rally behind you and be violent.
Yeah. This is a fantastic way to get power. We'd like to take it, please. I can't wait to get to the Origin and it's 6 episodes / movies.
But yeah, no.
Double Zeta.
Double Zeta. It sort of feels like it is kind of weird, because it's almost like every new antagonist that we have, it's like, what's a new type? Why are you talking about new types? What are those? Am I one? I don't think I'm one.
Yeah, that like especially, but like I do get that like it feels like by the nearing like the second half of Double Zeta, we're actually getting to the point of like, the villains know what they are, the heroes know what they are, and it's really just fully diving into what can being a new type actually do, not just in a battle sense, but in a wider humanity sense.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the cyber new types, and like, I feel like in Double Zeta especially, it's really made me come to love just the idea of cyber new types. Because in Zeta they were cool, but they were also, every character that was a cyber new type was just kind of insane.
Yeah.
Completely.
And they like almost immediately died in the episode that they were brought up in.
Yeah, like the main cyber new type in Zeta was 4, and 4 was just kind of out of it for like a lot of it. I still don't know why Camille liked her that much. She was just kind of insane. But
oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, really. But 4 was right there. But yeah, in Double Zeta, we're getting cyber new types that are actually characters, and they're still obviously not healthy, but they're coherent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Plu especially, she is also a child, but she has become like a weapon at this point. She's aware she's a weapon, and she's surprisingly effective at being a weapon.
Yeah.
Which she does it so casually, but that's kind of terrifying. And I think that's one of the reasons why she is an annoying character, but I never found her annoying.
I wish I could.
Despite what you thought.
I wish I could be like that.
Yeah, because her annoyance has like a point where, oh yeah, she's fucked up because she's been tortured for like, as far as we know, her entire existence.
I just
And
wish
it
they
only-
didn't push the insistence of her being Judau's sister replacement so hard.
I mean, I kind of got it because that was basically what happened in Zeta with who was the girl that wanted to be Camille's sister?
Oh, Rosami.
Rosami, yeah. They'd already played that plot point, so I was like, okay, this makes sense. I'll just accept this.
Yeah, the difference in that is that it's like that's like a 3-episode arc at best in Zeta, and this is a like whole entire second half of the show issue.
Yeah, it was an interesting arc, and I'm glad they're actually expanding on it. So yeah.
No, because it's just she can't be like separated, but from she is attached to him in such a way that just I find so irritating.
Yeah, because she's sensing someone who might actually show her care. Of course, she's gonna latch on to him.
He's just kill her.
She's might possibly be my favorite character of the show.
No, just wrong.
But like it's expanded upon with like her clone, Pluto sister clone. Yeah, great name by the way.
Clone, I think.
Clone. Yeah, they treat her like sisters, but they're
Yeah.
actually clones.
Mm-hmm.
And she is just like the complete opposite, like coin toss, where like she's fully in on like the indoctrination. She's backing like Glemmy because she has to, and she thinks it's her idea, even though she's been brainwashed into it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's that whole dynamic of like, is this actually what she wants to do? Is it just the brainwashing? How does it reflect with her previous iteration, who is very much not that? I don't know. It just sort of struck a chord.
One thing I find interesting about Pluto specifically is the way she's portrayed for the majority of her screen time. She looks more mature than Plu, and I don't mean that in like a weird way, like fully understand. I literally just mean she looks like a bit older. And then when Judau's essentially convinced her to come around, and she kind of has like this bit of a breakdown, like she looks like a child, and I find like fascinatingly interesting how someone can be so young, look above their years because of the things they're doing, and then be snapped back to looking like a child. I think that was really interesting in Pluto's character arc for me.
Yeah. The I don't know. I had another point. Oh, the mining colony arc as well, which is basically one of the closing arcs as well. Was like, I'm not sure how I felt about that arc, to be honest.
It fully just feels like a way to bring Karasun back into things, and I'm not sure we needed to bring Karasun back into things. I think we could have just not had. She is so like emblematic of the problems with the first half, along with Marshmallow, that both of them resurfacing, like Marshmallow especially, it was just sort of like, where the fuck did he go? But having them reappear so late in the game, where the tone had shifted so much by that point, they can
look different as well from where they were in the first half, like just from like art style, because like I'm gonna ignore the outfits because the outfits change was also too big.
Marshmallow, I need you to put your tits away, my guy.
Yeah, like we don't need to see all that cleavage, man. Did I make the joke to you that it's like, okay, so is Marshmallow's like group just like the slut core of Neo Zeon, because you can't be having all that out. I'm not shaming, but like this is a war zone. Kara being there and just being Kara as well did not help.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that, like, how do I phrase this? She got a buff between appearances. Let's just say that.
Because in the first half, they make a couple of references to her size and the chest area, with Marshmallow specifically calling
There's no
them
good way to say this.
like king mounds or something like that, or king sized something.
They keep making jokes about it, and both of us were just kind of like, that big.
They're not that big. Because Elle calls her Boobzilla like multiple times as well. And it's like, it's not until the second half when she reappears, it's like, yeah, no, she got an upgrade.
Yeah, now I get it, because she actually looks like she's been drawn like that. But yeah, it was weird seeing them come back again for so long. I like that Marshmallow came back. I kind of wish he had been a bit more like his earlier, like, first half self, just to, like, contrast a bit more between the tones, and also just to show that, like, yeah, he's ineffective as fuck, and he's in his own world, really, in terms of what Neo Zeon is, but at least his, like, soldiers follow him to the ends of the earth, because he is, on some level, trying to be honorable, even if that honor
I think
is kind of warped.
The big difference, and I can't remember if the show again just glosses over this fact, but Marshmallow, in the time that he's been off screen, has been like run through the Cyber New Type program. So that, you know, clearly has affected his mental state and personality.
It's him that, like, they keep sort of occasionally talking about, like, is the Cyber New Type stuff, like, kicking in on him? Is he now under control?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, they brainwashed him.
Yeah. Because I think that's probably the one character you could say has gone through, like, correction, rather than, like, being run through the Cyber New Type program for its benefits of becoming a Cyber New Type. They looked at him and went, nah, man.
Yeah. Look, whatever you're doing, it is not our vibe. At least they let him keep the weird flower personality trait.
Yeah, which I remember we had talked about. I can't remember if we talked about it in the episode, if this is something we talked about just as we were watching it, but like you had mentioned, like, is his like flashbacks real, or is this just how he remembers things? I think it's meant to be interpreted how he perceived things. He is so caught up in like his own delusions in the first half, because when we see a Hamana interact with him in the second half, it's not really, she's clearly manipulating him.
Like, it's very clear that she's playing off how he views her as like a way to just use him as a tool. But like, and I remember the way I asked it was like, I wasn't sure if those were actual memories that like she was manipulating him there, obviously, but he's just seeing as more like actually genuine, or is he just fully making up all these interactions in his head and he's just kind of insane?
I think some of them probably actually happened, but probably some of them he's also like made
projecting
up entirely and projecting it.
Because it was sort of hinted at in the first half that that's what he was doing, because like his second in command was also like, are you okay, sir?
Man.
It's nice to get confirmation that like he is like not just being mentally manipulated at this point, he's being conditioned.
He's fully been re-educated by that point,
to the point where actually the whole flower thing kind of gets recontextualized as maybe that's his like grounding item, or like triggering item, or whatever, to keep him like, you know, focused.
Because his new second in command, who's also a Cyber New Type, I think, she tells him to like smell the rose every now and then, just to sort of keep him sane or grounded,
so that he doesn't like go fully, you know, into like a fury mode in battle, because he does that a few times.
And then he just fucking blows himself up at the end.
It is a spectacular like blow up.
There's so many insane cyber, like, just new type shenanigans going on at the end.
You kind of just have to sit back and just let it all happen after a while.
I love it though, because it's always this case of like, things have been, okay, not so much in Double Zeta's case, so serious. And they've talked about, like, you know, the potentials of new types, the things that they can do, and you've sort of seen it on this like very subdued level. Like, okay, there's the stuff with Camille and Judau and the projections and stuff, and the way they sort of communicate and the way that's visualized, but then like the end just goes full, like the end of 79, the end of Zeta, and now the end of Double Zeta are both just like yeah, man, they can just like use their powers for whatever. It's just, you
Yeah.
know.
You know, it's like the Force. It's whatever the fuck the writer needs it to
Yeah.
do in that movie.
And somehow they always kind of make it feel earned. But I think it's because it's that, like, it's just sort of an external representation of the philosophical conflicts that the protagonist and the antagonist are always having at the end of a Gundam series. Is like, this is just their principles and morality just going head to head.
It is literally their mindsets fighting against each other, which is quite a great way to frame it, actually. And completely gets down like what's really happening in all those sequences. And for Double Zeta, it felt really nice to actually see what the full potential of like a new type conflict is, because even in Zeta we were getting close to it, but like the actual like conflict was still more about the suits and like the actual in Mobile Suit Combat itself. It was great to see actual like new type mental battles as well.
And stuff like
it felt like we
Judau
were finally like getting to that.
And Judau like pulling the Double Zeta like together by mental powers alone.
God, that was such an earned moment. The entire like final battle was mostly fight. It kind of felt a little bit like an anti-climax when it got to just Haman and like Judau, I have to say.
I can kind of see that. I think for me it was personally not as much of an anti-climax, if only because like I just needed them to go at it together properly.
Yeah.
And
I think for me it was just in the sense that Haman just kind of loses and dies somewhat easily compared to how much she's been set up and how much she's been such this intimidating antagonist for especially the second half, that it kind of felt weird to go, oh, she's dead.
I think it comes down to that like thing of she is a very strong new type, but she's not that strong that Judau can easily surpass her, because again it goes into that thing of like my headcanon about like what are is intent and like your personal sort of moral compass like a part of what drives new typism. Is it driven by strong desires to help other people and to do better by everyone, not necessarily for pure personal gain? And that sort of, I think Haman does
sort of connection that like new types just sort of have and like seem to keep promoting, is like, you know, they're able to connect better with other people literally because on some new type spiritual way they can just do that.
And so like Judau at that point is part of a crew that is all of his friends. Argama is fully just manned by his friends at that point.
Even Beecher.
We don't know why they hang about with them. He's just...
everyone just seems to hate him, but sure, they're friends. Every friend group needs that one arsehole.
And then you've got Haman, who at this point, you know, she's been manipulating a whole bunch of people, but now she's just down to herself. She's all purely reliant on her own abilities, and it's...
She's never actually made a real connection with those new type. This kind of plays into what I was kind of interpreting it. I did feel it was a bit anticlimactic, but I did make my interpretation was that like she's a strong new type and she's clearly very intuitive with it, but she like fundamentally misunderstands what it really means and what like a new type's quote unquote goal or purpose is, if like just from an evolutionary standpoint. Whereas she thinks it's to dominate, when it seems to very sort of be not that.
New types are meant to lift people up rather than to subjugate them, and Haman's very much on the subjugation side of it, whereas Judau's like, no, I can... He's very clearly seeing true results of what it is to lift other people up with new type abilities. Like, he fully sort of, well, beat you aside, you know, what's the word? Like, rehabilitates his friends into, like, good members of society.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, I guess the best way to describe it is that, like, it seems like the real purpose of a new type is to be like a conduit of like community and like togetherness and just being able to connect. Whereas like people like Haman and even Shar on some level seems to view it as a tool to gain power and to like dominate and control people who are who are in their mind weaker for not having this sort of gift.
Yeah, it's almost like fascism is bad and socialism is good.
What? No fucking way, dude. We can't say that. We're gonna get accused of bias.
We're gonna get accused of being communists because I said socialism.
Why did we have to make them so political? Art shouldn't be political. It should just be purely something that isn't political.
Gundam is just wow, cool robot.
Yeah. That's anyway. Insane mindset. Please continue.
Yes. I love the like exchange between Haman and Judau at the end, where Judau, like, he knows that he has to fight Haman to the death, but he's still sort of unwilling in doing so because he's fully talking to her through the whole thing, and he's like, you could do good, you could do so much for humanity.
Because on some level she does have like some sort of honorable intent to it. Like, she's done a lot of fascist evil shit. Like, there's no escaping that. But like, he's able to sense on some level there is a reality where like she recognizes that's evil and like would have been able to be a great leader, not in like the fascist sense, but just in the sort of like pulling people together and actually being able to do good if she just chose to do good.
I think the whole sort of thing is maybe like a trying to sort of pick apart the great man idea, in that like you can have people who are perceived as great, but they're, like you say, they are conduits for community, for connection and the people that they represent, and it's only through that combined effort that they look like a great person or a great man. Sort of outdated term, I guess. And Haman is a great person through force, and sort of is like that archetypical idea of like you have to be set apart from everyone else. You have to have definably, you know, strong
sort of
qualities.
Ayn Rand approach to like great man sort of philosophy of just like, oh, some people are just naturally better and just natural leaders, and just it's the purpose of everybody else just get out of their way and let them like rule or be whatever they're supposed to be. Whereas like Gundam sees that philosophy and is like, go fuck yourself. That is not how humanity works, and I fucking refuse to acknowledge it.
Because it's a very real way that we used to look at history and historical figures, and it's like, it's, I guess if you take none of the context of history and just look at the big figures and names, like, I guess you could walk away with the great person theory.
It's why we kept building statues to them and like sort of naming like entire ideologies behind them and stuff, when it's like, no, in reality a lot of those guys were just like in the right place at the right time. They were, and unfortunately because of the rampant sexism in history, they did tend to usually be guys because of patriarchal systems. I mean, it's why it's called great man theory, even though there were a lot of women in history that were like integral to like great social change that we just kind of ignore. So it turns out not just that socialism is good, feminism is great as well. Is good,
just ignore the fact that the antagonist of Double Z is a woman.
Hey, it shows that they can also be great bitches.
Yeah. No, I think like I recently seen a thing where it was like, yeah, I believe in feminism and like women deserve the world, and it's like, but as a man, I also deserve the world. We all deserve the world. We all get to go out. Just because you are one
It's
thing.
almost like everyone's just kind of human, and there's no real like biological like essentialist bullshit that like makes one person like fundamentally greater or lesser than the other. We're just sort of apes.
We're all somehow on this planet, and we just need to all try and do our best to live on it and cohabitate with each other.
We are a social species at the end of the day. We kind of need each other to like survive.
I think that's why I like the ending of Double Zeta so much in comparison to the absolute fucking just gaping hole that Zeta leaves in you when you finish it.
Yeah.
Is that
I feel that.
is that it plays on that social idea that we are social people, and that we you know, we thrive when the people around us thrive as well. Like, this is one of the few times where everyone sort of, you know, it's similar to the end of the original Gundam series, where like
I was gonna say,
Amuro flies. Actually, it's almost identical in the way that they're looking for Judau, and he comes out of Axis.
I was literally gonna mention when we were watching it that like this whole idea of like Judau even needing to like wave to say I'm over here, like, do some people on like the argument even sense him just before it happens? Because I remember that for a fact happening at the end.
Yeah, because it's Plu right before she dies. Plu 2 is like, he's there, he's over there. Judau, you can if you do this, you can get out, and then
which made me cry.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that I don't think anyone else sensed him, whereas like it was a moment of awakening for almost everyone else in the white base at the end of the original Gundam series.
Yeah, because like I do remember the end of like 79. It was like one of the kids though that like initially sensed Amuro and was like, he's over there, but then everybody else turned to him. So I think that's what they were kind of trying to play out with Plu, because she is like the youngest person on the ship basically. The difference is she was dying.
Yes.
but like it's almost the same in that like I don't remember if Amuro was sort of doing that waving thing that Judau does, but like he was signaling to them, calling them, and then they all just like have a big old hug basically.
Yeah. And we even see, you know, during like the credits, like Fan and Camille on the beach and having a moment, and and then there's, you know, the after sort of sequence where we see Judau and Lena reunite and all that stuff. I think it's, you know,
which made me cry again.
Yeah. It's a more cathartic, I think, emotional experience, because you're like, yeah, this is ideals realized. You know, it's like Gundam has a set of ideals that it wants people to take in and internalize, and to be better as people and how we interact with other people. And I think, you know, Double Zeta nails like getting that across with how it can be realized, and not just not just Zeta, where it's like, fuck it, your main protagonist is just fucked.
I mean, I feel like what Zeta was going off was like, okay, so this is what happens when everyone like you've connected with and like all the people like you love just kind of die.
Yeah.
During the battle, and you're just sort of left a husk. It's the more of a, this is the bad ending.
Yeah.
So
it's
like, I mean, you won, but like everybody else is dead.
I think that's why
not healthy.
Like Zeta and Double Zeta feel like just almost one contiguous whole piece.
Absolutely.
Rather than two individual shows. That first half kind of fucks it all up for Double Zeta.
I wish the first half of Double Zeta was as good as the second half, because then like I feel like it would be mandatory viewing. Like if you watch Zeta, you have to watch Double Zeta like right after. It would be like a part 1 and part 2 sort of thing. But the fact that first half of Double Zeta just is painful to watch.
Yeah.
Kind of just fucks up that whole thing.
Because so many people jump straight to Char's counterattack, and it's like, you're just never finding out what happens with Haman and
Yeah.
like, you know, the Argama crew at that point, Camille.
Yeah.
You're just sort of leaving
Right, being an idiot, you're
Right.
missing that.
Yeah. You leave a lot of threads hanging, but not only that, you miss out on some of just the best parts of Universal Century Gundam. And like real solid crystallizations of what they wanted Gundam to convey. I think with like the Dublin arc, the way it ends, and maybe not the characterization, that still leaves a lot to be desired.
It gets better in the second half,
yeah.
I have to say that, and it definitely starts to work a lot more, but there are definitely also still some kinks. Still not entirely sure what Elle's character was supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure on like her and Beach's whole thing, but also then them pairing Rue and Judau at the end as well is kind of weird.
Every sort of attempt at a romance plot in this just kind of falls apart because it feels like they didn't really want to write one. And I would have been all for them just not bothering this time, because not every story needs a romance. And I have made my point clear on how much I hate needless romance in stories that don't need it.
Yeah.
But like, Zeta does the weird thing where it's like, it feels like the writing team really didn't want to write any, but like some mandate came down that like it needed to be included somewhere because, I don't know, it sells the Gunplas better or whatever, if there's a romance in the show or whatever exec says. So they're like, okay, we'll just kind of hint that the main girl character likes the main male character, but also there's some sort of love triangle with this arsehole character we have here, because that's how romance works, definitely. And also, there's another female character here. She's not paired up with anyone by the end. Let's just throw her to the main character because we don't know what else to do with her. And also, what? Okay, I have to ask, with Rue, why did they make her feel sorry for Glemmy at the end when she's shown no sympathy for him at any point before then?
I don't know. I think like Elle is the most apparent upfront like case of inconsistent characterization, because very often you kind of don't really know what role she's meant to be fulfilling as a character, and it's I only say that because sometimes it is a scene to scene issue. She will just be a completely different person from one scene to the next. But Rue is much more subtle in that they just cannot keep up with who she is as a person, because she fully just has this hard-hearted moment, like character arc where she just goes off on Judau for mourning his sister, and then at the end she mourns the fact that she kills an enemy who, you know, not they didn't have the best personal interactions either whenever they met face to face. So like
I said, Glemmy is the Gundam version of an incel, so he's very creepy towards her and keeps like making moves on her that she does not appreciate in the slightest. And then suddenly when she kills him, she's like, "I'm sorry, Glemmy," and it's like, you wouldn't say that. If this was you from like 10 episodes ago, you'd be so like hyped to kill this dude. Why are you sorry?
This man wants to kidnap you. He has made that pretty apparent that he wants to get you. So like, girl.
It's weird because like you're right that like it's more subtle with Rue, because she is like mostly consistent up until like only certain points. Like, she's introduced as like the only other real actual military character in the show for like a while. She's the experienced fighter. She's from the Levion Rose, so it's like she's had combat experience compared to all these little dipshit kids who don't even want to be here at this point. So the character can kind of come off as a bit more hard-hearted and just more used to the experience of war. That then gets flanderized into yelling at Judau for mourning his little sister, who, as far as everyone else knows, has just died.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now you're just completely void of compassion, which goes against like your character up until now. And then to be fair, she kind of just disappears after that for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
she
runs
just
off, leaves.
Yeah, comes back, and then she's not really focused on that much until like the final battle.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a weird issue with the second half where until the Dublin arc, there's a whole sort of just if it happens when they go back to space as well. There's times where, unlike Zeta, where even when like the story from the next episode would be like a whole sort of self-contained thing, there was like a natural logical through line of the show. Double Zeta in the second half to me lost some of its own logical through line, where sometimes an episode preview would say something and you would start the next episode and you kind of felt like you missed something in between from the end of one episode to the next. And sometimes I would only really understand the context of why we're in a situation because I've watched the next episode preview. Otherwise it's like, how did we get here and what's happening? Why is this going on? So it's a weird thing that Double Zeta kind of has in that section of episodes when they get to Earth and then when they go back to space, where there's some self-contained stories that don't logically all connect for me in a way that I found sometimes a little confusing. Or maybe disorientating's the not confusing on like a narrative level, but more sort of disorientating and like understanding why and how and where we're going with stuff.
It's like, again, it doesn't feel super consistent on like what it really wants to do. The second half feels like it's more on like what it wants to do, but like it doesn't really know like what it wants to do on an overall scale, but like on a character scale, it still has that same sort of confusion.
Yeah, it's almost like all the character focused episodes, which like that sort of desert arc is. It's a lot of very small self-contained episodes that kind of feed into larger kind of character arcs, but the way they're presented's very disjointed, because it's like, you know, they've left the Argama because they're hunting for like water and supplies, and then it's like they never go back to the Argama that we see, but apparently they have at some point because now they're back out there because they're hunting for Ryu. And then it's like, okay, they're now doing this thing, and it's like they went back to the Argama. It's like, did they? What? And then we see the Argama at like a dock or something, and they're like, oh yeah, they should be back by now. And it's like, how fucking long have they been out there then? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. Like, from where I was like watching it, it was like they had been in the desert for like all that time with no rest, and I was like, how are you not dead yet? You guys were struggling for water earlier.
Because
you're just fine now? Okay.
there's a couple of times where they say that thing about like they're looking for these supplies for the Argama before they like hook up with them again, and it's like they go back out for oil or some shit like that. It's like, I forgot that at the grocery store.
Before Blue tries to drink it.
But it's almost like originally those set of episodes, because they happen like immediately after they get to Earth, it almost feels like it was written in a way that was meant to be like, oh, they got split up from the Argama as they were descending to Earth, and now they got to try and hook back up, but they never make like the immediacy or urgency of that a thing. And they do say that they're like looking for water for the Argama at one point, so it's like, okay, I don't really know what you're trying to do here sometimes. So it just sort of, there's parts of the second half that are totally more consistent but disjointedly put together.
And that's also including just some characters who popped up in the first half that then suddenly pop back up in the second half. I have to mention them now. The Moon crew.
Sarasa and Rasara.
The fact that we don't go back to the colony at all is the saving grace of their entire function in the second half. Thank fuck we never go back there. But like the characters come back and the twins come back, and they mainly serve as a sort of a hook to get us on the Don Corneo plot line, I call it.
Oh god, I fucking forgot about I forgot about the Yakuza style plotline. Fuck.
You say Yakuza, I say it's. I mean, I know this came before. This is just straight
Yeah.
up the plot line from Final Fantasy VII when they have to infiltrate the brothel, basically.
Yeah. God, I forgot.
Complete with male main characters cross-dressing, which, you know, slay.
This has got to be where Final Fantasy VII took that
Oh,
idea, right?
I'm convinced someone at Square was a fan. Because it's almost one-to-one.
Yeah, like,
down to like
Judau
the pervy like antagonist of this
Mhm.
plot line to the male characters cross-dressing to like infiltrate the harem
Mhm.
to try and get the female characters that have been kidnapped. It's, the plot, it's a fun plot line, but like, what?
Maybe people could point out that this is a thing that's existed in other media, or is like some kind of weird
Yeah,
trope.
is this just a
Of-
common trope in like Japanese
Yeah.
media? If it is, please tell us.
It's got
Because
to
I've only ever seen it twice at this point.
Yeah, it's got to have escaped like anime and manga circles for a long time, because I've watched a lot of it, I've read a lot of it. I've never seen this except in Double Zeta. The only other instance I can point out to it is Final Fantasy VII. I've never seen it in any of the Japanese movies I've watched. So like, is this a thing? Like, where did this come? They're so exact. But I also feel like it's one of those things that we're going to be like, yeah, this is a reference, and then people are going to come in and be like, actually.
Yeah, you don't know this is actually a literary tradition going back to this old myth of insert mythical figure here.
Yeah.
If it's true, though, I'd love to find out more about it.
100%.
Please send it to me. Because I do love this kind of plotline whenever it comes up, because again, slay. And it's usually an opportunity to get awesome female characters to beat the shit out of perverts.
Yes.
I always think back to like Tifa, Aerith, and Cloud, and like the Final Fantasy VII version where she's like, "I'll smash them, I'll break them, I'll twist them, or whatever." Love that moment in that game. I gotta replay it at some point. Anyway,
Also, Haman's here during this whole thing.
Haman is here in disguise, and by in disguise, she's got a blonde wig.
Yeah, there's no fooling me with that distinctive voice of hers. Like,
Okay, because I am tone deaf when it comes to like, I'll admit it's usually just Japanese voice actors. Whenever I have to read stuff on subtitles, any sort of the way my brain just interprets voice just completely shuts down because it's being taken over by reading subtitles.
I think
you're aware of this. It's why I
Yeah.
suck at pronunciation, because I'm usually pronouncing stuff in my own head in spite of however it's being said in the actual show. I just don't pick up on it. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. But I would admit it means I didn't really clock that she was Haman until like she started talking to like her little sort of assistant that's
Underling.
on this. Yeah, the underling that's in this plot. And I'm like, oh, it's you. Yeah, you have the same face. I see it now.
But yeah, she's also just here for some fuck-ass reason. Like,
She got really bored.
there's no... Again, this is the thing that bugs me, is like, sometimes there's just no logical connection for why things happen. They pick up this refugee ship, and for some reason Haman's on it. Does she really do anything through that privilege? No.
In the episode that happens, like before they actually get onto the Don Corneo colony, I don't know his name. I'm calling him Don
don't
Corneo.
remember it either.
But like they have like the whole episode before then is like dedicated to like the refugee ship and like sneaking onto the argument through that, and it makes you feel like they've got a big plan through these. Like maybe like, do they try and plant a bomb and I'm just forgetting, or?
The underling throws like a lipstick thing out of a dust chute, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, why is that on a spaceship?
I don't know. It's just the fact I cracked up so hard when she walks up to it and just in massive characters is written dust. It's like, is that all that's for?
Yeah, like it's not an airlock or anything. It's literally just like a little trash thing that like hotels have or something in like their cleanup rooms. And like, no, it's just on a ship and it just shoots them out into space.
Yeah, just says dust.
Just dust.
Anyway, she puts like a lipstick thing down there, which doesn't explode. So I think it's meant to be a tracker, but then again,
Yeah,
nothing
it's
really
a tracker.
nothing really comes of that in the end.
No.
I think they fight some mobile suits, but aside from that,
Yeah, like if they had tried to plant like a bomb or something, it would have made like sense. But like, they don't really do that. And then like right afterwards is when they go on to the colony and like the plot happens.
yeah. And then Haman just shows herself like unprompted. Fully just gets out a mobile suit and is like Judau, and she's like, Haman? What the fuck?
Judau is about to like censor or whatever before she goes away, and she's like, I knew you would find me eventually. Like, come on, you can just show up if you want to. You don't need to do this elaborate stuff to like get into contact. You can just show up.
I also find it slightly frustrating that Judau's developed his new type abilities by this point to a certain degree and is capable of sensing people and reading like communication between people, and yet doesn't pick up on the fact that he meets one of the strongest presences that he mentions. Just doesn't pick up on the fact that she's there.
She's blonde now.
She's blonde.
It hides her. It cloaks her.
She put it on and became an actual blonde, which means that she was just stupid for a bit.
Yeah, like her soul completely switches into something else when she puts on the wig. It's like whatever the fucking force mask Palpatine was using in like the prequels to hide from the Jedi. Only a wig.
God.
Yeah. I burst out laughing, by the way, when we got to like the castle part of this plotline, and you just see Gundams blending into the castle.
One of them's like a
just wearing like almost lampshades of like castle roofs on top of them, and just like posing. It's like, okay, dudes, what are you doing?
Kill all billionaires.
Fucking bastards. This is the most left-wing episode we've ever done. I'm so proud of it.
Oh god. I'm trying to think if there's any other little sort of mini arcs that we haven't gone over. We've gone over
Mondo gets with one of the twins from Moon.
Yeah, which is apparently a thing that happened in the Moon Colony episodes itself that I don't remember.
It kind of happened a little bit. It was not, I mean, I hated those episodes, so I tried not to pay attention, but like I remember it just kind of being hinted at. But it was such a weird thing even for that episode. I was like, okay, can we just drop this? And then like the second half happened and it turned out, no, we're not dropping this.
Is he into the twin that dies?
Yes.
Of course he is. Fuck me.
And it's played as such a sad moment, and I treated it the exact same way I treat that other weird romance subplot in Counterattack.
It's weird that they like tried to pair up just about everyone on the Chucklefuck crew.
It happened in Zeta as well. I remember pointing out that like, why is every female character being forced to like pair up with someone except Emma? And that's why Emma was great.
I think Zeta played it like a bit better in the sense that like they really kind of played into the idea of like people being in such like close like captivity essentially with each other for so long is gonna cause certain things, whether they are genuine, whether they are like healthy, terse.
Whatever the fuck Rekko was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remember Zeta playing out the idea, like, it's not great at first in Zeta, but I think it plays it out a little better because it does it over a longer span of episodes, really, whereas, like, Double Zeta just keeps, like, throwing random shit in and is like, yeah, Mondo, women.
Yeah. This is what Gundam does, it's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Mondo's not doing anything, pair him up with this other character that's really not doing anything.
Yeah. Mondo really doesn't do much, does he?
No. The Moon sisters, at the very least, feel like they're trying to have some sort of use in that they're kind of like Camille in the sense that like they're such strong new types, they just have another sense of things. Only they've managed to they've managed to get it down to also be able to act like actual people.
Yeah, I think, like, I kind of, it's weird. I feel conflicted over their presentation in these other episodes. The Moon ones, fuck them. I hate those set episodes. But here, I like the way they're trying to, like, portray that. Yeah, you know, you have people who will use new type abilities for, you know, like we see with the Argama crew and everything, like genuine connectivity, the community, you know, stronger bonds. The way that Haman will use it for, you know, subjugation. And then you've got the other people, the nutcases, who will dress it up in mysticism and call it a religion.
Yeah, the Cult of Light.
They just don't do it well, because you have the Moon episodes that don't do it at all. They just have a cult.
No sense.
No, they just have a cult for other reasons that are never explained. And then they show up again, and it's like, actually, yeah, they're priestesses in the sense that they're new types, so they have these extra abilities, and it's like, that'd be so good if you just fucking brought that up at any point.
If you had made it that, like, oh, they had actually figured out that new types are a thing beforehand, and because of their isolation on the colony, it became like a foundation of a sort of cult, just because of that isolation and because of their unique circumstances. They didn't really do it that well, if that's what they were trying to do in the Moon episodes, but they're now trying to course correct it a bit here.
So now you just
and then they kill one of them off, and then the other one doesn't appear ever again.
Yeah. So now you've just got the twins wandering around the Argama, just spouting on about spiritualism and stuff, and it's like, I get what you want to do, but this is just such a weird way to do it.
Yeah. It really just sort of amounts to like just some of the characters going, I find your ideas intriguing and would like to subscribe to your newsletter. And that's about it.
Do you have a moment to talk about the Jesus Christ?
Our Lord and Savior, light. But I'm bright. Final character we have to bring up. You might have forgotten her. Emery.
Oh god. Fucking yeah, nail file woman.
Okay, yeah. Can I just say, by far, the actual, I mean, other than Beecher, who I just fucking hate, on a fact, she just kind of is the worst character.
Oh yeah,
in the whole show.
I don't understand their intent to have Bright cheat on Mirai, and also play Emery as some kind of like person to be sympathized with.
Yeah, like to me, it really feels like someone on the writing team wanted to have that, like really wanted to have that plot line before everyone else was like, no. And so they kind of just aborted it while still playing lip service to it before just going, can we just kill her? And then she dies.
It's so bizarre, because like, you know, I have my issue with Bright never being wrong about like, you know, new type people and how good-hearted they actually are under the surface. But I think he is a person who is, I think, to be looked up to in a way.
He has integrity. He is in basically every single like show, even when we first met him and he kept slapping people. And you got to stop doing that, Bright. That is not up to code. But like, he's the dad of the crew.
Yeah.
He's like almost the Professor X figure of being kind of a mentor, but also kind of a fighter at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's really weird that Double Zeta is like, let's get him to cheat, right? Let's get him to cheat on his wife and kids. You know, let's try and get him to like get with this like homewrecker who's really into him. And it's like, no, why?
I just simply can't believe that Bright would do that he would in any way show some kind of reciprocation to this.
Yeah. And the few times that like the show tries to paint him as like tempted by it, it comes off so weird and out of character almost, because it's like, Bright, you're married, you love your wife, you love your kids, this is established, and like it's established later on in the show as well, and in the next movie where we'll talk about, but like So what are you doing here? And they still try and have they kind of realize it's out of character because they also try and have him like brush it off and keep them
Yeah.
away from each other as much as possible. So it's weird. What was the point
Yeah.
of that?
Because the show even has Bright being like, you know, I skipped going to see my wife and children to come and be here. Like when
To continue the mission.
yeah. And so like the person who is like so committed to being the kind of person that he is, who puts himself through pain of not seeing his wife and kids to continue the mission that he believes is important and necessary.
And it does pain him.
And it does pain him. Would fucking fall for another woman.
Yeah. Like in full character, he'd take her aside and go, "Hey, you've got to cut this shit out because I'm not recuperating this. Get it together."
And like we know that Bright is also matured as a leader because he fully lets Judau punch him because he knows that Judau needs to let out whatever is going through him in that moment, and he knows that it's reached such a point that he needs some kind of outlet for it, and the only way for him to do that, even though it's not right, is to just be violent. And like the person who was slapping people in the original Gundam and at the beginning of Zeta wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, for quite a bit of Zeta, let's be real.
Yeah, quite a bit of Zeta. Wouldn't have done that. He's been humbled in some capacity. So it's
He's
weird.
had a lot of character development. In some areas, maybe too much character development, but
it's weird. I think it's you know, like I say, I think Bright is a character who is very easy to look up to, and doing the whole Emery thing is like a slap in the face, pun not intended.
I think it's another sort of just consequence or just impact of the tone change, which was a necessary change, as we've discussed at length at this point. But like, it means that like because that was set up in the first half, when she comes back, they don't really have a way of getting her to fit with the new tone.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes, because it made me question how the fuck did she make captain or deputy captain or like whatever rank she is at all, because she's almost as useless as Beecher.
Yeah.
Like she's completely ineffectual as a captain, even when she is the captain of like, is it the Lavion Rose?
The Lavion Rose that she's captain.
Yeah. Yeah, like she's mostly ineffectual. It's usually like Millie that's like taking over, like telling her like, you know, maybe you should do this because that's the thing to do. God bless Millie, by the way. She's the only reason that ship stuck together. But respect.
It's almost that same thing as Beecher, where it's like no one's really listening to Beecher. Beecher can't captain the ship. It's Judau that everyone's kind of listening to, and he's telling Beecher what to do. It's such a weird parallel that they pull with them.
Because like, to what end?
Yeah, exactly. It leads to nothing. It's not as if like, you know, Emery dies and then Beecher's like, oh shit, I need to do better. I need to be a better captain. I need to be a better leader.
Like she sacrifices herself, and the only actual purpose it serves from a character standpoint for everyone else is nothing, really.
It means
she dies, but it's just another casualty of war, and that's it.
Yeah, they make it seem as like some kind of massive loss. Even the Lavian Rose, they make it seem like it's some kind of massive loss, and I'm like, guys, you were trying real hard to make the Lavian Rose important, and I just could not give a flying fuck about it.
I mean, the ship looks cool.
It's cool.
Like a giant sort of satellite thing, but I felt more sad that it got destroyed than Emery dies.
Yeah, I like the idea of like some kind of repair site that can travel along and be part of a battlefield. It's the same thing as like Shangri-La at the beginning of the show. Sometimes because of that weird tone at the start, they would kind of hammer on mentioning things, and like Shangri-La, the Lavian Rose, the Endra, Marshmallow, you know, some characters and some things were just mentioned so often that I'm like, I'm just fed up with it.
Yeah. Like, just whatever, man. Do what you want. But yeah, when she died, I did do the exact same thing I did with Rekoa. I hate Rekoa more for just like so it's not the same kind of hate, but I did do the thing of posting the Krusty the Clown gif and going, Emery's dead.
Rekoa far more deserved.
Oh, she deserved it, absolutely. I'd do it again.
We gotta mention that Hayato fucking bites it too.
Oh,
we just haven't mentioned that. I think we'll
I forgot it was this series, not gonna lie.
Yeah, we'll use this to sort of lead into wrapping up, I think, because there's probably 100 things that we could talk about, but, you know.
I mean, just before we started recording, we realized, oh yeah, what's his name?
Yazan just disappears.
He was a thing. He was a leftover from Zeta for some weird reason, and then he just pissed off. It's
disappeared after, like, episode 9. Never showed up again, except apparently as a cameo.
Come back like Marshmallow. He got forgotten by the narrative.
Yeah. Oh man. Hayato dies, and it's very unceremonious. It's kind of weird.
They straight up spoil it in the episode preview, and I straight up went, "What the fuck, man?"
I get why, because I think there's no way to do that episode preview differently. Without mentioning the colony drop and like keeping that completely, like, because if you don't mention Hayato's death in the episode preview, what else do you mention? Because the two big things about that episode are the colony drop and Hayato's death.
Insert some waffle about, oh, that sucks. That's it. And then a few lines of that.
Maybe they could have pulled like an Evangelion. Wait, does Evangelion do this, or is this a different show? There's one show that sometimes just does like fake episode previews where it's like, oh yeah, this thing will happen in the next episode, and then it doesn't. It's like something completely different.
Can't remember if it's Eva. I feel like I remember if it was Eva.
It might be a different show, but I think maybe that idea could have went, but like, I also don't think we were at the sort of meta-contextual stage of media yet, so that kind of idea wouldn't have occurred, I don't think.
We were nowhere near the era we're in now, where half of a Marvel trailer just is fake.
Yeah, which is a whole other kind of like fucking annoyance in and of itself. Like, I get not wanting to spoil it, but also like, you know.
God, this is completely off topic. The fucking Infinity War trailer, looking back, is like the pinnacle of that. Half the stuff in that trailer did not happen in the movie for somewhat genuine reason, because it did become a genuine surprise when the movie went the way it did. But at the same time, I kind of liked that shot of them all just charging to the camera that never happened in the movie.
Yeah, because it's like it's played completely differently in the movie. Yeah, because they show Hulk fully hulked, and he never hulks. I think so. In most of the movie, he's in the
he got out Hulk.
Yeah, he Iron Busters during the actual big battle.
Save this for the eventual Marvel episode we'll do near closer to Doomsday.
But yeah, that episode, I sort of understand spoiling Hayato's death, because there isn't much else that happens in that episode that isn't directly tied to there's a colony falling and there's not really anything we can do about it, and it's a race against time to try and evacuate as many people as possible. So like, I kind of get it, because otherwise you don't have anything you can say without giving away. I think the main thing that really works for that episode, if you don't know it's coming, is that sudden, like, there's a colony falling and there's just nothing they can do about it, and like having to witness that inevitability happening. But yeah, Hayato's death is still kind of unceremonious in the end. Yeah,
it's so unceremonious. I forgot he was here.
Yeah, like, because he does only show up in like that episode to like tell them, hey, there's a colony falling. That episode
of like one beforehand.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I think they meet up with him in Africa and he tells them to go to Dublin, I'm pretty sure. And then, you know, he tells them, you know, there's a colony falling and you know, we got to get as many people away as possible, and then he sort of sacrifices himself And they try and play it as like this emotional thing because, you know, Katz had died at the end of Zeta, and you know, he feels that deeply. It's his son. Well,
and that felt a lot more emotionally like, not fulfilling, but like a lot more viscerally real.
Yeah.
In the way Zeta had done it.
And you know, it's just sort of like a bit of an anticlimax in the way they actually sort of pull it off. That like it's overshadowed by the colony drop and like everyone else dying. You kind of feel more for the mass loss than you do for the personal loss at the end, I think, which is what makes it kind of weird. But yeah, I find it not funny, a little annoying that Hayato just sort of went out like that.
Because he was an important character from all the way back in like 79, and he's just sort of been pushed to the side to unceremoniously die. It's annoying in the same way that like Frau is just completely gone from Universal Century at this point. She got one appearance in Zeta, and that was about it. Yeah,
she's with the other two triplets. They're not triplets, but that's the only thing I think to call them.
The three kids in 79 that were now our kids.
That are now their kids, they're in Japan. Katz is dead, but, you know, they're in Japan.
Yeah.
And we'll never see them again.
No, which, you know, sucked. I liked her. Yeah. She was an interesting character. It's the same way I was annoyed with Sayla and how she didn't come back at all until this series.
Right at the end, episode like 45 or 46.
It's... First off, she picks up Lena. Like, she's the reason she's still alive.
Yeah.
Like, that just... We don't see it happen. We get that cutaway in a random part when they're leaving Earth that like, oh yeah, she's with Sayla, and it's like, but then she comes back and she has a speaking role. She's an actual character. She's not just a cameo.
With Bright.
It's like one conversation, but like, we got something.
It's also load-bearing to the fact there was a movie coming out immediately a year after this.
It's fully Char's counterattack setup. But like, I'm glad she came back. I was wondering where the fuck she was. Because she was an interesting character in 79.
I kind of... It's something I'm disappointed by with, like, when they came back, when they, you know, Amuro showed back up. Obviously, Char's a main fucking character of Zeta. You know, we see Hayato, we do see Frau, even though it's briefly. We meet, we see Mirai again. We get to meet Noah and Chiamin. But like, Sayla's just not present. Like, we see her briefly as a backshot.
Reverse shot, please. But we also get, like, I remember this from Zeta, we got, like, it was one of Char's first scenes where, like, he keeps, like, a picture of her. So he's clearly thinking about her, and she was integral to his story in 79. So, and she brings it up, like, in the conversation, because of course the conversation is going to actually be about Char, because it's Gundam, and it's always about Char near under the surface, but she brings it up, and she very understandably is like, if I don't want to see him ever again, I hope if I see him, I hope I see him dead. Or something like that, which is like fair. Like, but like, she should be more integral, god damn it.
Yeah, she's a very interesting character, especially by the end of 0079, that like not having her present whatsoever really across Zeta and Double Zeta still kind of bugs me. And again, I don't know if I think I mentioned this when we were talking about Zeta, that I'm not sure if it's maybe just a case of like her voice actress was just completely unavailable, really, and like this was at the end of the day the best that they could do because they didn't want to recast or whatever, because even through Char's counterattack, like all of the core cast that shows up from 0079 is always voiced by the same people.
I did recognize that, and You have brought up that you can always tell where Shara is just from his voice actor, so you know.
I know the voice of Shuichi Ikuda so well that it's disorientating when he shows up in other stuff.
Does he just sound the same in other stuff?
100%. There's voice actors that have incredible range and like they're almost chameleons in their roles, and then you have other voice actors who are kind of cast for the fact they sound like that, like Akio Otsuka, who voices Battle, kind of just always sounds like that.
Yeah.
Even when he's doing...
it's like Dio voicing Deadpool that one time.
Yeah. Takahito Koyasu just sounds like that. He shows up in a Gundam at one point playing a Char clone, and yeah, he just sounds like that.
Well, I mean, that makes sense.
And Shuichi Ikuda, he just sounds like that. So yeah, same with Toroyu Furuya, who voices Amuro, just kind of sounds like that. I think it's more common in Japan for voice actors to sort of be cast on the fact that they sound like that, and then you have the more dynamic chameleon actors, but yeah, no, Shuichi Ikuda's voice is so distinctive to me at this point that like I will immediately recognize him.
Char Aznavour.
Char.
Char. We have so many in jokes just around Char at this point. It's obnoxious.
He does that to you.
I don't like it. I still don't get it. I'm gonna be real. He's cool. I don't get why everybody else is obsessed with him.
Anyway, on the topic of Char, I think it's time to wrap up so that we can now go record Char's counterattack.
Yeah. We stretched that out into 2 episodes, bitches.
We did. I think it would have been insane to have also tried to tackle Char's counterattack, because we've almost been recording for 2 hours now.
Yeah, now it would be insane because this episode would hardly get uploaded.
Yes. This should be our longest EX episode ever made, I think, if we also tried to tackle Char's counterattack. So yeah, thank you for listening to this episode where we've wrapped up our score of the show. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah,
I always get slightly confused when we do the shows and split them up because I'm
yeah, because we don't do the scores in like the first half, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm kind of... So how do we want to do this first half? Do we want to like score the different halves? Because I feel like this is a time where it's like valid, or do we want to score the overall show, or do we want to do both?
I think
I might want to do both.
I think go both, because this is one of the few times where the first and second half are very, very distinctive to the point that you kind of have to take in and acknowledge that they're 2 entirely different almost shows.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we'll do both. We'll go what are our scores for each half, and then like a sort of overall whole score.
Okay.
So
you want to go first?
No, you go first. That's perfectly fine.
Okay. So my instinct for the overall score, I want to give it can only top out to me as an 8 out of 10 because as much as I like the second half, we've talked about the flaws even in the second half a lot, I think, in this episode, but it is a really good series. Like, not just the Dublin arc, but like the battles are some of, I think, the best like Gundam has ever done. Stuff like Flu's storyline with Judau and like some of the character stuff there, I think is really, really good. And just the overall like scale of like not only where it turns out that the main threat to Neo Zeon isn't actually the AUG or the Federation, because they kind of collapse, and really it's just this small group of the AUG that's left that's fighting them. It's really just Neo Zeon itself, just eating itself alive, and all these power-hungry arseholes at its center just turning on each other to try and get the whole pie. Is like, I love stories like that because it is the fundamental like cannibalistic nature of fascism, where like at the end of the day, the people at the top of it will just eat each other alive for more power, because that's just the kind of people it attracts. So I love that plot line, but because the first half still exists, and the first half sucks. It sucks so hard, where like if I wasn't watching it for this podcast, I would have probably given up on it for a while at the very least. So overall, it has to top out at an 8 out of 10 for me, because that second half is that good, but the first half still exists. If I was to rank the first half, it's like a 3 out of 10, possibly 2, possibly 4, depending on if I'm feeling nice that day. But like, it's rough, man. Whereas the second half, because it is really good, and it is really good, purely the second half, I might just give it a 9. Which makes it like the best Gundam piece we've ever seen, or I've ever seen at the very least. Because it is just that good, but like, because they are all one show at the end, I have to just say it tops out as an 8. It could have been better. It could have been a straight 10 if it got some of the kinks ironed out, and that first half was just better. It would have been a perfect 10.
Yeah. I think I'm sort of similar in that the first half, 100% like a 3 out of 10 at best. It is actually painful to get through at times. It's hard to...
I wanted to die at Moon.
Like, I would not have gotten through the entire 25 episodes that we watched for the first half if I didn't spend one Sunday just like, I'm gonna watch as many as possible. Because
you tanked it, man.
I tanked it because every night I got home from work in the lead up to that day that I watched those episodes, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. It was like, I've just finished work, I want to be happy, I want to relax, and if I watch this show, I'm gonna do neither.
So play Spider-Man instead.
So yeah, first half 2 out of 10, 3 out of 10 I think is probably fair. Second half 100% a 9 out of 10. You know, I think the second half would be a 10 on its own if it didn't have some of the flaws and kinks that we've mentioned. There's some stuff that just...
the baggage.
Yeah, there's some stuff that, like, purely because of the first half, they can iron everything out. They can just, you know, fix everything, unfortunately. So I think it is a 9 out of 10. The Dublin arc in general stands as one of my favorite bits of Gundam, period. Like, like one of my favorite shows is After War Gundam X, but I think that still the Dublin arc still stands slightly above that show as a whole. As a complete package, I gave it a 9 on Letterboxd purely for its second half, but I think if I'm to take it as a complete package, I think I have to go with like a 7 at best.
Yeah.
Because there's just a little more of the stuff that sucks than there is of the stuff that doesn't.
Yeah, because the stuff that sucks does kind of bleed into that second half a little bit, like you said.
And it's also the fact that you need to get through that. It's not like it gets bad at some point. It's bad at the start and gets better as it goes on.
Yeah, and it's not like, because of just how like it plays out, like you can't even say like, oh, skip these episodes because it doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Like characters like Kara and Marshmallow kind of have to have that build up so that they make sense in the second half.
And you can't just drop in, like, say, around when Haman and Judau meet the second time and he rescues Lena and she dies, because, like, well, you need the setup of her being captured, which happens way in the bad stuff territory, and there's also the character...
and all the scenes where she's, like, being held captive and kind of being... I have to call it basically being groomed into high Zeon society by Glemmy because he's a fucking creep. Yeah,
and then, you know, like, characterization, because, like, the characters still kind of suck around the point where the tone starts shifting, but, like, they're also nothing compared to how we meet them in the first episodes, where they are truly insufferable. So like, you can't. It's like telling someone like, oh, you know, One Piece gets good at like episode 300, so just start at episode 300. It's like, no, that doesn't work. And like, I'm pulling a random number. I think One Piece is pretty good from the start. It's
time for episode 300. Jesus.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's like after episode 30 of One Piece, but it's like, yeah, you skip a lot of crucial character introduction and arcs and, well, not arcs, but like, you know, characterization and getting to know people and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that never works. Yeah. I don't think there is a show that you can be like.
For my end, it's like what I hear about like Clone Wars. Like I still haven't watched Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the 3D animated show in full yet. I love the 2D animated version, but that's a completely different thing. But like the first like 2-3 seasons are very much a Cartoon Network kids show. And it's only after like a certain arc, and I think season 4, where like it starts to take itself really seriously and actually starts to be like the prelude to episode 3, basically, and all of its sort of like intricacies. And you can't tell someone to skip 3 seasons of a show, because it does have certain build up with certain characters, and there are some arcs specifically around like Mandalore and stuff that I think happen in those early seasons that you need for their later seasons, and like Darth Maul comes back and stuff. So like you need those extra seasons, but like there's seasons where like there's just full episodes dedicated to Jar Jar Binks. And he's still Jar Jar Binks.
I
so
think,
you know,
like
you can't do that.
Every fandom sort of has this. It's like, you know, Star Trek. It's fine being like, oh, you know, you don't need to watch the original series. You can start at Next Generation. That's
or you don't need to watch the first season of Next Generation.
It's actually, I think people say like the first 2 or 3 seasons for Next Gen usually, and it's like that's where I'm like, no, like I get not necessarily watching the original series, or maybe not even watching Next Gen and jumping in at like Deep Space Nine or like Voyager or whatever. Like that's fine. Those are all independent shows. Like, okay, Deep Space Nine is sort of backdoor piloted by Next Gen, but that's a whole other thing. But like telling people to skip like the first 2 seasons of a show just doesn't work. Like you can't do that. But anyway, yes, 7 for the whole package, I think, for me. But 9.
That's very fair.
That second half, I think it's peak Gundam.
It's more just the fact that the Dublin arc exists gives it that extra point for me to push it to an 8, or like overall. But like, yeah, it sucks that first half sucks.
So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Anime Lane, where we've covered the last half of Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and we will see you guys next week when we're on the counterattack in Char's counterattack. We'll see you guys next week.
Gotta fucking find them.
Bye.
Bye.